a chair, and he stuttered. He said, "Doctor, you're going to cut off one of my legs or both of my legs at once." The man had cerebral palsy, and Garth, for all of his adult life, had been in a wheelchair, and he had these weeping sores on his legs. And as I began to hear his story and actually listen to him, I learn a lot when I listen to people. And I'll listen to my wife more often, by the way. She's not here, but she's the best person to see any day of your life. But anyway, but as I began to listen to him, he began to tell me about these sores on his leg and tell me about his life. It was really sad. The circumstances of his life. Back in the day, this is a man who grew up in a trailer house deep in the woods of East Texas. The further you go east, the thicker the trees are, and the harder it is for folks to get out. But anyway, but Garth had a really tough life. And his father was an alcoholic, and they kind of stuck him in the back of the house. They didn't know what to do with him. They thought he was retarded because he had cerebral palsy. If you know this, people who have cerebral palsy, it's just a muscular disorder. They're some of the most intelligent people that you'll ever meet. And Garth he was an intelligent guy. His dad just sent him off to school, basically just to get rid of him. And Garth made something of himself. The guy went to school, became a teacher, and he taught special education and things. It's really amazing to see how he responded to his circumstance. See, he was a strong responder. You see, and thinking about, creativity, ingenuity, adaptability, all of those things are good things. But I want to tell you something. There's a downside to being a hero. And I know this because I experience it quite often. Heroes tend to play the fame, shame, blame game. You ever been there? We take the credit and then we point fingers when something's wrong. And one of the bad things about being a hero is that you carry a lot of burdens on your shoulders because there's a lot of people who have expectations for your life. And unfortunately, you can never really meet the expectations that folks place on you. Can anybody identify with that? Seems like the expectations that people place on us sometimes are just such a heavy burden. And so a lot of heroes tend to hide. They tend to fear exposure. They tend to point fingers. They tend to deflect the blame. So there's a lot of challenges with being a hero. What's interesting though, and this is what most of the self-help gurus don't tell you, is that there's another group of second-level thinkers. They're not the heroes. They're not the ones who believe in the adequacy of their responses. They're the zeros. Now, we physicians see these folks in our office every day. There's something wrong with them. Every week there's a new problem. See, but the mental formula in their brain is very different than the heroes. Now, it's the same equation. It's just that they see their responses very different. Instead of having a capital R, the zeros have a small case R. They're not strong responders, they're weak responders. You see, they believe that their attitudes and their actions aren't enough. Joan was a lady who came to see her physician. She was depressed. And as she shared with her physician, her husband was having an affair. Her daughter was doing some things that she didn't approve of. And she felt completely out of control. So she went to her physician. Of course, her physician gave her some pills and a pep talk and a follow-up in 2 weeks. Well, Joan, just feeling completely overwhelmed with her burdens, dropped her kids off in school and drove out into the country and ended it all. That's the way some zeros think. That's really the way they feel. They feel that there's nothing that they can do to change the outcome of their life. C plus little r equals O. Now it's interesting to see these two groups of second level thinkers interact. The strong responders just say, hey, suck it up. You just need to you just need to tweak some things. You just need to believe in yourself. You just need to You just need to you just need to do some self-improvement, and you're going to get there. And let's write a couple of self-help books. But the zeros, I think, are actually more intellectually and emotionally honest about themselves than the heroes. They just intuitively they know something that heroes don't recognize. And I think this is one of the problems with this second level of thinking is that, when you live a life, when your acceptance is based upon your performance, enough is never enough. And so that's one of the big dilemmas of the second level of thinking.